Welcome to Mindful Matters, where being mindful matters. I want to dive in a little bit into the pandemic and the COVID crisis. I was asking myself just the other day, it's a damn disaster. These people killing their children left and right. It seems to be rampant. Um, I just want to know why. I'm not trying to make excuse people, but since the pandemic, you know, uh, parent caregiver stress and mental health issues have just, you know, rose severely and rapidly. You know, um, young adult stress, anxiety, depression, frustration, which all well established risk factors for abusive behavior. Many young adults tasked with caregiving responsibilities may have lacked coping skills or resources to manage these new pressures. It gave us economic hardships, unemployment, you know, job loss, financial strain increased significantly, leading to more household stress, instability, substance use, um, strongly correlated with high rates of child maltreatment and violence. Sadly, yeah. The pandemic gave social isolation, reduced oversight, lockdowns, school closures, social distancing, meant children were less visible to people like teachers and counselors and social workers, um, the people that are supposed to be trained to uh, acknowledge child abuse, more or less. Um, Disrupted social support systems, resources, parenting programs, family therapy, uh, where childcare was limited or even shut down, increased isolation for young adult caregivers, um, could contribute to the escalation of conflict or stress. Um, the young mind would more than likely think, well, I can't take care of myself, and how can I take care of you? Attitude, and that still goes on. I've actually heard people say that. Lonely together. How COVID-19 reshaped our social bonds, isolation from family. Your grandparents, your mom or dad don't actually live in the home. Cousins, nieces, and nephews, just in the in that sense. Cycle of violence and unmet social needs. Social psychology recognizes that violence tends to breed more violence, especially when stress and trauma are compounded but not addressed. Chronic exposure to violence, isolation, or adverse childhood events increase the risk of young adults themselves, stressed or traumatized, may act out violently against others, including children. And that goes back to what I was saying, uh, with the mentality of I can't hardly take care of myself. How can I take care of you? It's substance abuse, drugs and alcohol. It's the pandemic itself and the COVID-19. Outside that, there's really no single cause, but the intersecting factors of the economic hardship. increased stress due to that. Little to no social support. Greater household dysfunction. It's if you're locked down and people are in the home together or in a group setting for a long period of time. I mean, it's obvious that someone is going to be mad and upset because you're in their face all the time. Every day, day in, day out. I mean, that's a fact. It really don't happen uh, in a lot of families, but there's a lot of families that are like that, and that's factual. Big increase, percentage rate increase um, in different type of abuses. Uh, from healing to hurting. Um, the physical abuse rose not too much, but enough to make a difference. Uh, well, quite a bit, 1,400% in the first few months within the first year of the pandemic. Emotional and psychological abuse rose pre-pandemic 13.9% that was surveyed in adolescent reports um, to in the first year of the pandemic rose about 55%, 300% higher. Physical abuse in the adolescent in the first year of the pandemic rose from 5.5% to 11%. That's a rate of 100% increase. First year of the pandemic. So, in summary, emotional abuse rose 300%. Physical abuse in adolescents, 100%. This is within the first year, average within the first year of the pandemic. Severe hospitalizations, cases like AHT, head trauma, or actual physical abuse, 1,400%. And that just goes to show that the pandemic and the COVID problem caused mass confusion in all areas. The mental health and the physical health, uh, the social health. It was just rough all around. I mean, my personal experience with it, I had COVID twice. The first time kept me in bed about a week. I couldn't even hardly move, get up to go to the bathroom, and uh, a lot of my family members had it. Um, I personally knew a few people that had actually passed from COVID, and I know a few people, uh, their husband and wife passed from COVID. And I seen, the emotional trauma that caused, and my personal experience with my children and how it affected their mental health and other people's children. I really paid attention um, right after the pandemic hit because I knew that this was going to be a big mess. And I kept up with everything, that mattered. And I'm still watching decline in mental and physical health, uh, food prices, is just awful. Um, and just anything else, it's significantly raised in prices. And all the problems that come with the last 3 years, it's just really hit hard. And I believe a lot of people are just giving up. And I see that every day. I see the carelessness, um, the hopelessness. Uh, it's really not being addressed. It's lack of resources, um, lack of funding. There's a lot of policy changes that need to be implemented in a lot of these programs, especially mental health. Um, and I really don't see any um, changes. I really don't see anything that's being addressed in an emergency fashion. It's just lagging and lingering, and uh, people and situations are just getting worse. And it doesn't seem right, and I'm really in no position to change policies. I mean, if I was, then I would be right on it. Uh, so, like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses for people. I'm just trying to figure out why things are the way they are, why people act the way they do. In hopes that understanding could make a difference. But it takes more than one person to see the problem, realize the problem. It takes the right amount of people, and that's with your local government, your state government, and your federal government. Uh, Laws and policies need to be implemented. Programs need to be funded. Um, it just needs to be taken care of because it is. I don't see anything getting any better. I just see things getting worse. Everybody have a good day and stay safe and peaceful.